Meet Lily J. She is an influencer from Australia who cracked the code. She discovered the fastest route to internet fame, be a beautiful blue-eyed blonde woman, and make pro-Islam thirst trap content for the lustful gaze of sexually depraved Muslim men.
How does that work?
Oh, it's a brilliant content strategy. Use low IQ content to get high engagement. And recently, Michael Knowles reacted to Lily's videos.
That doesn't seem like a great thing.
Now, my only criticism of Michael is that he was way too respectful.
It's a little partial view of the truth. It tells you a whole big lie.
But he correctly identified her as
The Sharia thirst trap.
and he ended the video with this.
The thirst trap didn't work on me. Did she work on you?
But Lily took his reaction, cut out the criticism, and posted what is left of his 12-minute video in a 1-minute version that starts with her saying,
I think this guy from the Daily Wire in America wants to become Muslim.
10 seconds later.
I agree with Islam on.
He's basically Muslim at this point.
wow, I have heard of the jihad of the sword, the jihad of the pen, but Lily J has created a new genre, the jihad of final cut. Michael saw it and wrote, your editors seem to have cut out a few of my comments from that video. And this is what Dawah has become under the reign of a woman who confirms Muhammad's view on the intelligence of women. But Michael isn't her first victim. She started honing her grift by using deceptive omissions and selective facts to infer that history's greatest geniuses were secretly Muslim. And as we'll see, this strategy isn't new. It is actually as old as the Quran itself.
Did you know Steve Jobs was a Muslim? Well, kinda. He was born Muslim. So Steve Jobs was adopted at birth, right? But his real father was a Syrian-born Muslim named Abdul Fattah Jandali. And he named his son Abdul Latif Jandali before being adopted and became Steve Jobs. And this is why there is absolutely no public record of Steve Jobs ever saying anything negative or disrespecting Islam. Interesting, right? What do you guys think?
I think you're an idiot, Lily. But yes, Steve Jobs' biological father was a Muslim from Syria, and his biological mother was a Catholic. But Jobs referred to them as sperm and egg bank. He later reconnected with his biological mother, but refused to meet his biological father because he found out the guy abandoned his sister Mona when she was very young. But Steve's actual parents, Paul and Clara Jobs, were Lutherans. Steve said they were 1000% his parents, and they raised him in the Lutheran church in California. But at age 13, he left Christianity because of the problem of evil. He showed his pastor a magazine cover of starving children and asked how God could let that happen. The pastor gave a generic answer and Steve walked out. He once said, the Jews goes out of Christianity when it becomes too based on faith. He also said different religions are just different doors to the same house. And does that sound Islamic to you, Lily? Doesn't his objection to religion apply very much to Islam more than any other religion? But we don't even need to speculate over his religious affiliation. It is a known fact that he was a Zen Buddhist. He credited Zen principles like mindfulness and the power of nothingness for Apple's design. Lily said,
And this is why there is absolutely no public record of Steve Jobs ever saying anything negative or disrespecting Islam.
yes, he never said anything negative about Hinduism or Sikhism either. He was a tech CEO, not a theologian.
Did you know Isaac Newton was a Christian but didn't believe Jesus was God? So Isaac Newton, one of the smartest scientists to ever live, who discovered the laws of gravity, was a part of the Church of England, right? But guess what? In his verified private notes, he said he believed Jesus was the Messiah and a prophet and completely rejected the Trinity. He confirms it was a corruption introduced later into Christianity. So he believed in only one God, he believed Jesus was a prophet and not co-equal to God, and he says the Trinity is not taught in the Bible. So what religion was Isaac Newton? What do you guys think?
Oh gosh, I mean, Newton believed that Jesus was the unique Son of God. He believed in the atonement. He had a Christ-centered theology. We have thousands of pages of his Christian writings and prayers. But because he subscribes to a non-Trinitarian view of God, I guess he must have secretly taken the Shahada. I mean, just look at the great things he had to say about Muhammad. In his notes on prophecy, Newton said, Muhammad was an impostor who blended truths with falsehoods and thereby deceived many nations. In observation upon the prophecies, he wrote, the imposture of Muhammad began to be propagated by the sword in the 7th century and thenceforward overspread a great part of the world. Yes, nothing says I am a Muslim like calling Muhammad an impostor.
It is totally based.
But see, Lily J isn't being original. She's recycling old debunked arguments. And frankly, this claim claim the famous guy strategy, it comes straight from the top. It is the same mindset Muhammad and Allah operated with. In Quran 1883-98, there is a story about a great king called Dulkarnain, and for centuries, major Muslim scholars like Jalalain posited that it refers to Alexander the Great. And when we place the Syriac Alexander legend and these Quran verses side by side, the striking similarities become undeniable. In the Syriac legend, Alexander prays for power from heaven. In Quran 1884, Allah gives Dulkarnain power and means to all ends. In the Syriac legend, Alexander travels west to where the sun sets in foul water. In Quran 1886, Dulkarnain travels west to where the sun sets in murky water. In the Syriac legend, Alexander travels east to where the sun rises over the people who live there. In Quran 1889-90, Dulkarnain travels east of the rising sun where he found the people without shelter from it. That is, the sun rises over them. And in the Syriac legend, locals complained about kings named Gog and Magog. In Quran 1894, locals complained about Gog and Magog doing mischief. And in the Syriac legend, Alexander builds a gate of brass and iron between two mountains. And in Quran 1895-96, Dulkarnain builds a barrier of iron and malted copper between two mountains. In the Syriac legend, the Huns couldn't breach Alexander's wall. In Quran 1897, Dulkarnain's wall was also impossible to penetrate.
Like Muhammad on the night of Al-Zut.
Even look at the names. Dulkarnain means the two-horned one, and in late antiquity, two horns was already a fixed famous identifier of Alexander. But here is the problem. Just like the Syriac legend, the Quran also portrays the two-horned one as a righteous slave of Allah. Yes, according to Muhammad's revelation, Alexander, the degenerate pagan king who declared himself a god, was actually a pious believer in Tawheed. Muhammad saw a popular story about a powerful king and stole it. That's the game. That's how Muhammad convinced the Arabs that his religion was superior by co-opting everyone else's respected figure. Abraham, Muslim. Jesus, Muslim. Alexander the Great, Muslim. And Lily is just following the sunnah of the prophet. But if your religion needs to borrow credibility from dead geniuses, edit critics dishonestly, and rewrite history to become appealing, what exactly makes it true? Or in the famous words of Lily J,
What do you guys think?